So we want you to tell us everything about Lawrence Anini. So first of all, we want to know about you. How old are you, your name, when you were born, and everything about your family.
Before the bullets and the headlines, before the sirens and the fear that stalked the streets of old Bendel State, there was simply a boy named Monday Osunbor. And like many tragic figures in history, his story began not with destiny written in gold, but with cracks in the foundation of a nation struggling to hold itself together. Nigeria in the late 1970s and early 1980s was a country bruised by political instability and economic turbulence. The promise of a young nation was slowly suffocating under corruption, unemployment, and social chaos. In the markets, people traded with worry in their eyes. In the streets, young men wandered jobless and restless. And in the shadows of this uneasy world, the seeds of crime sprouted. Ruthless seeds that would one day bear the name Monday Osunbor. He grew up in the outskirts of Bendel State, in a community that often saw law not as authority, but as an inconvenience, a territory where survival sometimes meant bending rules and eventually breaking them. His childhood, though humble, was surrounded by whispers of danger. The streets were his school, and life taught him fast that power belonged to those who took it. He was not born evil. Few ever are. But from a young age, Monday learned one lesson above all others. In a hard world, only the hardest survive. By adolescence, he had already acquired a reputation for fearlessness. He wasn't the loudest boy, nor the most charismatic, but he possessed a cold calculation, a taste for danger, and a brutal clarity when faced with challenge. Where others backed away, he stepped forward. Where others hesitated, he acted. That fearlessness attracted attention. And in the streets of early 80s, Benin, the wrong attention was sometimes the most powerful kind. Anini was older, sharper, already forging himself into legend. He saw something in Monday, not just muscle, not just hunger, but loyalty, the kind that could turn a gang into an empire. When Anini spoke, Monday listened. When Anini planned, Monday executed. Their partnership was not just convenience, it was chemistry. The perfect pairing of mastermind and enforcer. While Anini studied police routes, political tension, and traffic networks, Monday studied panic. He learned the psychology of fear, how silence could intimidate more than shouting, how stillness before violence could paralyze a victim before the first shot was fired. He became the instrument of terror in Anini's orchestra, and soon their activities evolved. No longer petty theft, no longer mere street aggression. They entered the realm of highway robbery, bank raids, and police confrontations. Osunbor didn't just participate, he thrived. He stood at the front line, the man who walked into danger, so his leader could think 3 steps ahead. Victims would later recount that Monday didn't always need to speak. His presence alone said everything. No negotiation, no pleading, no mercy. By 1984, the gang had grown bold, too bold for the comfort of Bendel residents. Banks began reinforcing their vaults, transporters altered routes. Even police patrols moved with trembling tension. Monday, meanwhile, sharpened himself into the perfect weapon. He mastered the pistol, the pump action, the getaway strategy. He perfected silence, the calm before devastation, and he learned a brutal truth. Fear was more powerful than bullets. It traveled faster, lasted longer, and didn't need reloading. But behind the headlines and the whispered rumors, there was something more personal driving Osunbor. He wasn't just chasing wealth. He wasn't simply seduced by the thrill of danger. He was chasing dominance, a hunger born from the powerlessness of childhood. For every moment life ignored him, he would make the world notice. and the world did notice. Not through cheers, through trembling voices in dark bars and hushed warnings at village gatherings. Soon, he wasn't Monday the boy. He wasn't Monday the hustler. He wasn't even Monday the robber. He became Monday Osunbor, the enforcer, the shadow behind the legend, the man who gave Anini's whispers the echo of gunfire. But power, once taken, demands to be fed, and crimes, once started, demand to escalate. By mid-1985, the gang crossed a line that would seal their fate. They began targeting the Nigerian police directly. The boldness shocked the nation. Police officers, once seen as untouchable, became hunted prey. Stations trembled. Patrol units moved like sheep in a wolf's territory. A question spread quietly across Bendel, like a fever. Who really controlled the streets? The government or Anini and Osunbor? Fear became policy. Panic became atmosphere. And through it all, Monday remained steady, colder, sharper, more dangerous. The world around him spiraled, but the violence inside him was controlled, deliberate. Yet, in that height of power, lay the seeds of downfall. The louder their reputation grew, the more desperate the authorities became. And desperation in government eventually turns into action. A special task force was formed. Intelligence quietly circulated. Informants surfaced. And the walls around the gang began tightening. Monday laughed at the tension. After all, he had survived the streets. But the streets were no longer his battleground. The government, the military, the press, they had all awakened, and now he faced an enemy with deeper claws. Still, Monday did not fear death. He feared one thing only, being forgotten. And so he pushed harder, darker, bolder. The stage was set, not for a robbery, not for a chase, but for the turning point in Nigeria's criminal history. The era of terror without consequence was ending, and in its place, a brutal reckoning prepared to unfold. Monday Osunbor did not know it yet, but the world he had built on fear was about to collapse, and when it did, it would collapse violently. Tension sat over Bendel State like a wet blanket. It was 1986. The year fear finally met resistance. Police had been humiliated for too long. Citizens demanded action. Newspapers mocked authorities. And the military government, embarrassed on a national scale, issued an order that echoed through every barracks and command center. Find Anini. Find Osunbor. End this reign. A special anti-robbery squad assembled. Ruthless officers hardened by years of crime fighting. They hunted not with routine patrol patterns, but with intelligence, informants, and venom. Every whisper in every tavern, every suspicious movement in every motor park, every small arrest became a thread, and those threads slowly began weaving a noose around the gang. Monday felt the shift first. Instinct sharpened by years in the underworld, he sensed the atmosphere change. The operations were not as smooth. Police appeared in places they shouldn't be. Anonymous eyes seemed to watch from street corners, but retreat was not in his blood. Instead, he escalated. Where fear rose, Monday answered with violence. Where authority pressed, he pushed harder. But violence cannot kill momentum forever, especially not when betrayal begins to seep into cracks. One member of the gang, desperate, frightened, cornered Braxicos, broke. Whether through torture, deal-making, or fear of death, he chose survival over loyalty. And in the underworld, betrayal is not whispered, it is detonated. He revealed hideouts, patterns, faces. The hunters finally had a map. Meanwhile, Monday continued moving through the city like a ghost, confident, calculating, unstoppable, until the day the street stopped cooperating. It was late in the year, the air heavy, the city restless. Monday and Anini were on the move, thinking themselves invisible, but the hunters were already closer than they ever had been. When they struck violently. Gunshots, screams, panic, footsteps pounding like war drums. Anini fell first, shot, wounded, captured. The Iron King brought down not by bullets alone, but by time, intelligence, and betrayal. Monday watched his leader fall, and in that moment, for the first time in years, something pierced his armor. Not a bullet, but realization. The empire was crumbling. Not slowly, suddenly, violently, humiliatingly. He tried to flee, tried to outmaneuver fate, but fate was already waiting. His arrest was not cinematic. It was not a blaze of glory. It was dirty, desperate, and fast. The abrupt ending of a man who had once seemed untouchable. And then came trial. Nigeria watched, not with sympathy, but with relief and hunger for closure. The courtrooms filled with the echoes of lives shattered, communities terrorized, and families who wanted peace. Monday stood not as a kingpin, not as a feared enforcer, but as a prisoner, shackled, isolated, human, in the most painful sense. When sentence was passed, death by firing squad, he did not beg, he did not break, but neither did he laugh or boast. He simply stared. A man whose life had been a storm, now facing stillness. The day of execution was a spectacle, public, unforgiving. Nigeria wanted to witness the fall, and they did. March 1987, Benin City. The firing squad prepared their rifles. Crowds murmured. History held its breath. Monday, Osunbor stood rigid, not fearless anymore, but resigned. He understood at last that power rooted in violence cannot outlive justice forever. A final command. Rifles raised. A volley of gunfire tore through the morning air. His body fell, and with it an era of terror collapsed. The streets exhaled. Nigeria turned a page. On Monday, Osunbor became a memory, not a hero, not a martyr, but a warning carved in blood and consequence. He began as a boy shaped by a hard world. He became fear incarnate, and he died like every tyrant eventually does, alone, defeated, claimed by the very violence he once commanded.
No, not about Kantakon.
How did you become the toughest? What makes you the toughest?
We are fully armed. We are rifle and parata. Once I want to gang with the locally with people, it's not all that can operate. What else? It's not all that can operate anywhere. For me, when you give me my shoot gun, give it to me. When I ask them, I need to see the to shoot. You can ask them. I'm the principal operator.
Principal operator?
Yes.
Who taught you how to shoot?
When I look at any gun like this, I turn over it. I look the first 1 hour. I know how to operate.
How?
With my sense. I'm not as well as the other.
Okay, you repeated the class 3, right? They asked you to repeat class 3.
Yes.
Because of that you left school.
Yes.
So apparently you are not doing well academically.
No.
So where did you get this intelligence to know how to operate guns, carry out armed robbery and all? So what happened in your life that gave you this skill that you didn't have in school?
I lose interest in school now because I want to repeat. If I want to repeat the class, before I change to business automatically.
Why didn't you pass your exams? What do you make you want to repeat? What do you to pass your exams?
I say that from another field.
We identify the team. Then we zoned out their areas of operation, the areas where they relax, and of course the areas where they reinforce themselves with native medicine. These were the battle zones.
Who you be and why you are what you are. You understand? So we want you to tell us everything about Lawrence Anini. So first of all, we want to know about you. How old are you, your name, when you were born, and everything about your family?
Well, for me, I can't give the actual date I was born. I can't give the date which
Speak pidgin English.
I can't give the date when I'm delivered. Why? For a long time I've left my home. So my father and my mother don't know where about me. So I do go to Meduguri, Kano, different states. So during that time I was a trailer driver to Sasco. Sasco in Benin. I drive trailer for Sasco for some years. So from there I have to switch out, start carry vehicle. Once we park vehicle with the load, I can carry it and I sell it. And during that time, Lasisi, one man with bald head, former Oga Parapata, just as some officers be there.
What for where?
State CID, that is Lasisi. So that man was the man that arrested me in that period. Then I was doing that job complete 3 years or 4 years. Then after from there, so I have many friends. I have many friends. Then through there, when I stopped driving, my father buy a bus for me. A bus. That is of one where I used to.
Bus.
So I was driving in Sapler garage. From there, my father bought 504 for me. Then I was working. So later on, when I get to Warren, got an accident. So I was admitted. Before I come back, my father gave up. So from there, then I entered to my business again. Then I met one big lorry full loaded of medicine at Ebony Lima. Then I carried that lorry. Then when I carry that lorry, I drive it out, I sell it. So I drive the car to our woman. Then I sell the lorry with the load. Then the whole money was 50,000, which I buy the goods. So from there, the man we sold it for, he gave us 20,000 at the time. After small time, then this man, he organized for us that he's not going to pay the money. Then he has to use police people to arrest. So I was only the person that escaped out of 3 of us. I escaped down to Benin. Then I treat myself with the beating. Then from there, back up. Then from there, they come arrest me in my father's compound. I said, whether did I know all those boys? I said, well, it's a trailer driver, not myself, I'm a trailer driver. I don't know what is really happening now. So when I come talk to them like that, they come carry me go away. Carry me reach away and I come give my statement. Then, why did they shot me by hand here? They shot me by hand to give statement and with my leg to give a full statement that I know something concerning that the whole money, who is the goods value, then they said now, they will just carry the whole goods. They are not going to pay us the balance money. And from there, they condemn the rest 2 boys. Then they charge me since I don't have connection with it. So from there, they have to leave me. I come home. When I come home, then they arrested me too concerning our other case that I went there to steal a lorry with beer that I sold the beer in Kaduna.
From the Abbas Palace?
No, not from the palace, for where you want to distributor. The driver just come pack it, then once he gets inside, I kick and move. So from there, then
I had my father died, and I have to do the burial, everything, and I have to come back home. So on my way sleeping, I just surprised to see that CID who surrounded me, that my mother arrested, and I followed them down to the station. So when we get there, I also denied them. I said I should look for a person to take me on bail. When we get to court, they take me on bail. So from there, I was having a friend, which is Kisleya Weka. So there's one certain day like that. In Yamu and some other people, they just drive there. And my car was inside that compound. Then the Yamu have to send a message that it's looking for me. Then he arrested about 4 of them in that compound. When he arrested the all of them, he carried them down to prison custody. Then from there, he said, if I know I can have money to bring them out, he can help me. Then I said, well, I don't have money, but the money with me is only 20,000. And he said, no, he said you need 50,000. Then I have to give you that 50,000. Then they have to move. He said, well, you leave me alone. Then I go with my car. Then after small time, God bring pillow for me. So from there, started all this trouble. Then from there, later on, I heard that they killed Kisleya Weka in Fari squad. And I went to Yamu's house. That Abba, the money I've spent since then, how do you do it? I heard that you are the whether it's robbery, I don't know the rank you have there. Why don't you go up with the money and save the boy? Then he said, by now, at any time he captured me, he must kill me. Then from there I have to escape. Then right from there I started escaping from the Yamu. Then to the extent he come to my village one certain day. When he come, he met 10,000 under my pillow when I was sleeping. Then I have to escape. Leave the money there. Then he took the 10,000. Then he have to carry my father's house, beat him, break her leg, go to my mother's house, beat him, break her leg. Then I have to escape. Then I bust out at Saple. Because if you are in our village, very close to Saple, then I have to escape. Then from there, started running for Yamu. Then Yamu, at times, once he just heard you are here, we just organize. Within our boys, carry rifle, everything, just organize, and he will just go to that house. If you know you have